Hey everybody, today I'm going to be showing you how to do injector cups on a 3126 Caterpillar. So I've got the engine right here. It is inside of a Ford F650 and I've already got 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6 done, but I figured I'd take this time to show you how to do injector cups on number 2. So I've already got a plug inside of there, and this is what I'm about to stick into the actual injector bore. So you have this sleeve right here. I'll show you the kit here in a minute. And then a tap. Basically the tap goes down in there, and that sleeve falls right behind it, on top of it, to keep it centered so you're not eating into the side of the injector bore. So here's the kit that I have. I don't really have, I hate to show part numbers because I don't want it to be the wrong application for your truck, but I bought this kit off of Freedom Racing. I think it was around $500, and it came with new injector cups, 6 injector cups and 12 injector O-rings. These are the plugs. I'm not sure why they send you 6, because you only do 1 at a time. I don't know. But anyways, it comes with 6 plugs. I think this is also applicable maybe for a 7.3 power stroke, or maybe a 6.0 power stroke. But basically, it comes with some adapters and stuff. But it's a really, really top-notch kit. I'm really impressed. I mean, I know it was expensive, but I'm very impressed with the kit so far. So after you take a rag and clean out the injector bore real good, you take that tap and set it down in there. I'm gonna see if I can set this up to where I can work and there we go. So anyways, you just throw that tap in there. Up to this point, you've trained your coolant, because if you pull the injector cups out with coolant in it, you're gonna fill your cylinders with coolant. So you probably already know that if you're doing this job. But anyway, so you got that plug down in there, got the tap in there, got that bushing around the tap, and you don't have to go that far. I'll show you the tool that you actually stick in there in a minute. Basically, you just put a little bit of oil on your tap, run your tap down in, a couple of notches, a couple of clicks. What I was doing, it started to get tight, I think, where the cup is actually starting to taper down, about right there. And then a couple of these, the freaking cup actually spun on me. Luckily, I was able to get the tool out there. That one tried to do it there. But yeah, so then once you get it down in to where it kind of starts to get tight, back it off slowly. Pull out your tap, just spin it till you hear it start clunk, clunk, so you know it's all the way out. There we go. And then slowly pull the tap out. And so now all the metal shavings are down in the actual cup, and that plug is in there. So now we're going to take this tool right here, and it has this spacer, and it's got a bearing on there. So put it like that, and thread this up so when you put the tool down in the cup, it doesn't bottom out. And then the lip on that right there fits down into the actual injector bore, and just kind of find its home, temporary home. And you're going to want to take, with this particular tool, you want to take a 9/16 socket, Put it on top of the tool, and this is spinning that actual shaft. It's not spinning the pulling tool. So this is just threading that tool down into the cup, and then you don't have to go wild with it. These actually came out really easy. And you just tighten that down, and now what that's doing is putting thrust on that bearing. And then again, for this tool, it might be different with others. It's a 1 1/8 socket for that nut. And you just tighten that nut, and you feel it starting to pull out the cup. And then you're gonna wanna vacuum out any of the metal shavings that are still down in there. I just didn't wanna vacuum it out with the plug and the cup down in there, because you're gonna run the risk of just flying metal everywhere. And you got the fuel galley in there. You really don't want metal shavings in your fuel galley. You'll need your fuel injectors or your pump. Okay, so then once it starts to get easy, you can just kind of do it by hand the rest of the way. Just be real careful. You don't want to freaking be wild with it and get those metal shavings everywhere. So once it's just like way easy, you pull up on it, and out comes your tool with the cup. And that's what the bore looks like. Oopsies. Obviously, I'm not a professional camera guy. It's kind of hard to get light in there. But anyway, so down in there you've got a full fuel galley, oil galley, and coolant galley. And so now, we'll be right back. So I just took a rag and a big flathead screwdriver, put it down in there. And if you get one that's just right, it'll actually fit down into the seat where the injector seats, and it'll clean it right up. But this is just getting it ready for the brush. So once I do that, you can see it's not great, but it's definitely better than it was. And so now, I got this brush right here that I got on the old JeffBezos.com. And I just take it and run it in, up and down, trying to get it as clean as I can. And that little tip right there actually fits down into the injector hole like mint. Like it doesn't scratch it, it just fits down in there just right. And so then, again, the flat head of that screwdriver fits down, just like right down in there. It fits down in there almost perfect. So when you put the rag down in there and twist, it cleans up that mating surface, where the injector bore goes. And you just kind of push down and twist, and it cleans it right up. Kind of go around in a circle. And then what I like to do with cleaning injectors is once you get it way clean, take a can of brake clean. And clean out that injector bore. And take your rag again on the clean side and stick it down in there. And do the same thing with this rag, and that's just gonna get it squeaky clean. Now, as far as the bore goes, that's ready to install your injector into, I think. Let me take a look, see how clean it is. Your injector cup, excuse me, yeah. It's an old 300K cat, so I mean, it's not gonna be perfect. but I'll show you what I'm gonna do next. Okay, now this is crucial. You cannot do this without doing this. You can't do this job without doing this. Take a brake bleeder. That's something that'll fit down in the injector bore. I'm sorry, the injector hole. And I kind of want it to go in to where it's gonna suck just right, so you can get down in the bowl of the injector. And then if you don't do this, you're gonna hydrolock your engine. So this is absolutely crucial. I've already sucked it out once, but when you pull out the injectors, all the fuel, all the oil, and then once you pull the cup out, some coolant is gonna flow down in there. And so you wanna make sure that bore is just as dry as you can get it. Also, the little bit of brake clean that I stuck down in there as well. So you just wanna suck it for a while, just kinda up and down, making sure you're getting just as much as you can. I'm gonna twist the cord around, see if you can get as much as possible. And then, these holes are so small, it's kind of hard. But the injector hold down holes, that's also crucial to get all the oil out of those, because if you don't, you're gonna bottom out the bolts and hydrolock the bolts, and you won't get a correct torque on them. You can take a little brake clean and spray those out too, or compressed air, which I'll do, but right now I'm just getting as much of the oil as I can. But with the holes being this small, that's honestly what works best. And here's the driver for the new cup. That's what the new cup looks like. Make sure you put your O-rings on there. There's 2 O-rings, you have to put those on there. This job will be doing, you'll redo it if you don't put those on there, because that's the whole reason you're doing this, because either the cup's compromised or those O-rings are compromised. And you can see on the very tip of that, there's just a little red. That is not grease, that is red Loctite. Old CAT equipment mechanic said to put a little red Loctite on there. Now, CAT Sys does not say to do that. It's just kind of a trick of the trade from equipment mechanic. Then you just kind of put it down in there, kind of find your there. And you're gonna want to take your clean hammer, make sure there's no grease or dirt or anything on it, and just tap it down till you hear that pitch change. You're at the bottom, and then you're gonna want to give it a couple more. 1, 2, that's really nice. I had one that didn't want to quite go down. I had to tap it a couple times more. But basically, you're also gonna want to check, make sure it is seated, and that one is. But yeah, anyways, that is that. So next you're gonna put your injector in. Make sure that you put your oil deflector towards the injector. If you don't, I don't know if it'll go in, but and that bolt goes on the other side. Anyways, well, thank you guys for watching, and if this was helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, comment. I'll get back if I can, and yeah, just continue watching, following the channel, and hopefully we can grow this thing. I appreciate it. Y'all have a great day.